Welcome in Golf Week senior writer Beth Ann Nichols and Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio's Taylor Zarzour. Wonderful to see you both. Beth Ann, I want to start with you. You've been covering the LPGA for a long, long time. This Nelly Korda story, comparable to Annika back in the day, Lydia Ko, bigger, smaller? How would you classify it?
Building. I think we'll know more after this week. I definitely think there's this feeling that a lot of folks had that we wish that she had continued playing on into Wilshire, after that fantastic, finish at the Chevron, that she then, took 2 weeks off, maybe took a little bit of the buzz away for a while, but hopefully it's building. And I think we might see this week her do some special things, I'm hoping, that are a little outside the box for the tour. That's what the LPGA really needs.
Hey, Taylor, are you taking Nelly or taking the field? That's a tough bet this week.
I mean, I would want to say Nelly because I think it's great for the women's game if she wins. I don't know after a week off, how that form lasts. It's such a fickle thing, keeping that momentum going. But I love what the word that Beth Ann just chose for her and for the sport. This is a great story. We've had a lot of junk that we've been talking about in the last couple of years in professional golf, and women's golf has a great story behind someone that has the best swing in the game, men or women included. And I think that what Beth Ann said is true. We could sit here and we could say, well, I wish she would do more media or promote the game as much as possible. But to her point, if she goes and wins in Jersey this week, or if she is to win the U.S. Women's Open, in my mind, the biggest event in women's golf at the end of May and into early June, then none of what's happened in the last couple of weeks or how much we've seen her is going to matter. It'll be a massive story if that happens. There's some chatter this week, Beth Ann, with the Wells Fargo Championship. Scotty Scheffler is the only prominent player who's not there. The occasional rumbling that the event is somehow diminished when the dominant number one isn't there. Did you feel as though that was the case when the LPGA Tour went to LA and Nelly decided to stay home? Or is this just a narrative that goes hand in hand when you have a player on a dominant stretch that somehow the week feels diminished when they're not actually playing?
Yeah, I think that feeling is inevitable, and I think the rest of the field felt like they finally had a chance. Obviously, Hannah Green appreciated it, and it was a big week for her. But, I think no matter going forward, any week that Nelly Korda takes off at this point, it's going to feel a little bit like a downer, probably a little bit more so at Wilshire, simply because she was in the midst of such an incredible tear, and you thought she could take advantage of some of the media opportunities in LA that LPGA players rarely have a chance to do. So thankfully, this event is really close to New York City. So hopefully we see something there. It's my understanding that we might see something special in the works from her team and the LPGA coming forward this week.
Taylor, don't we need to see more, though? I thought that was a very interesting column in USA Today saying that this should be golf's Caitlin Clark moment, and that we as the sport collectively haven't quite captured it, whether it's Nelly's reluctance maybe to be more out front, or whether it's the LPGA not building it enough, or whether it's television's fault not building the story enough. With all the little girls that are supposedly picking up golf clubs these days, why isn't this story even bigger than it is?
It's a great question. I'm excited to hear that golf's best, or the LPGA Tour's best insider, just teased us in what may be happening in the next week or two, because we need stuff like that. We need her on the Today Show if she's going to be in that area. We need her to be doing mainstream media opportunities as much as she's willing to do. She said a couple of weeks ago after winning the Chevron that we need better coverage of the women's game in prime time. And I totally agree with that. But we also need the biggest name front-facing out there doing it for us. And I'm not suggesting that she go from a 1 to 10 in terms of how much time and how big of a commitment she's making to promoting the game. I'm asking her to go from, say, a 4 to a 6. But to your point, Damon, it is a wonderful story. It's something that we should be all excited to promote. And I'm with you. The more the general public gets access to her, to watch that swing, to watch how mild-mannered, kind, level-headed she is, the way that she supports the game, the more that she'll gain fans all over the world, similarly to what you just referenced with Caitlin Clark.
Taylor, I want to go back to the Wells Fargo Championship for a moment. Webb Simpson, who lives at Quail Hollow, is in the field on a sponsor's exemption. It's the fourth one he's gotten into a signature event this year. Adam Scott also on his fourth sponsor invite into these most lucrative events. And you can all justify with those guys why they are deserving of those kind of sponsor exemptions, but they are also policy board members of the PGA Tour in an era where opportunities are dwindling for the rank and file. So the optics look pretty poor from my standpoint. Do you think the Tour needs to seriously look at more stringent limits on how many of those invitations a player can accept or what they might have to give in return for accepting them?
I think that's probably the way to answer your question, is to say, okay, maybe we need to change the rules. Although I don't know that if I were one of these tournaments and I'm looking at what's best for business, I would have picked any two different players than the ones you're talking about right now, especially this week. I mean, you just said he lives on the 7th tee box, and he is a huge member of our community, and it makes all the sense in the world for Webb to be here this week. And Adam Scott, everyone that's ever spent 2 minutes with Adam Scott can understand why you'd want him here. He is one of the more considerate people in the game, and he's an identifiable player. And we need to make good decisions for business right now, especially for the sponsors, given what we're going through in men's professional golf. But sure, if you made a rule or someone makes the rule that says, okay, you can't have more than 2 or 3 during the year, it would be great to see a Minwoo Lee playing here at Quail Hollow this week, or to see up and coming players in the game get more of an opportunity. I'd be fine with that. But as long as the rules are what they are right now, Eamon, I've got no problem with the current sponsors of these tournaments trying to do what's best for business.